strange, you know what I mean? It's the first time I've spoken in front of everyone, so, you know, thank Jesus for being here. You know, if it weren't for Jesus, I don't even know where I'd be now. I don't know where I'd be, but, you know, thank God for that. Wow, my life, to be honest with you, until I found Jesus, was a complete nightmare. It's been fun, well, I thought at the time, but it's been a merry-go-round and going round and round in circles. But I was always looking for something. You know, I had this longing in my heart for something, but in that searching, it started with drugs. LSD, acid. From 15 years old, I used to love taking acid because it would take me, you know, it was something. I thought it was a spiritual experience. But I got into it and then, you know, ended up in care. I got fostered at 14 years old by a spiritualist lady who was into UFOs and rune stones and tarot cards. So I thought, this is it, this is brilliant, I found it, you know, this is mystical. But little did I know, I was just on the wrong path. But, you know, I've spent a lot of years reading up on this crap, really. But at the time, I thought it was the answer to everything. Well, you know, I spent a few years reading that stuff. I ended up in a children's home at the age of 15 years old. Getting into trouble still, taking acid, smoking dope every day. I mean, I couldn't go an hour without dope. I was to love it, wake up and smoke a joint. That was just the way I had to be. Even, you know, from 15 years old, I was like that. And then, well, a few weeks later, I got kicked out of the children's home at 16 years old, which you didn't expect. Do you know what I mean? It just kicked me out. Yeah, see you later, you're 16 now, you know, go and survive on your own. So they moved me into the red light district of Southampton. And, you know, as you imagine, there's all sorts going on there, and I loved it. It was brilliant, all sorts going on. I was robbing, you know, breaking into cars, nicking car stereos just to feed my cannabis habit, you know, which obviously eventually led me to go to prison, but I was too young to go to prison. I was only 16, so I went to a secure unit. Now, I don't know how that was meant to help me, because you had all different colour carpets, and you had to ask before you go on each carpet. So what's that meant to teach a young kid? I don't know what, but it was just a crazy little system. But I spent about 3 months in the secure unit there. And, you know, didn't really teach me nothing. So they released me after about 3 months. I got out of there, I was walking down the road with a telly, that obviously wasn't mine. Got caught. Ended in prison, but this time I was old enough to go to prison. I was 17 now, so went to prison. You know, it was quite a scary experience, my first time. You know, you think you're all hard and that, and you get to jail and it's like, wow, here I am. But, you know, after a couple of weeks, it was great. You know, I fat right in, fitted in fine, had a couple of fights, improved myself before I was at home, you know, it was just great. Well, I've done a year in prison there, spent, just over a year. I got out. Still looking for something, you know, not sure what to do with my life, so I came to London to sweep the streets. So, bit crazy, but I ended up sweeping London Bridge. You know, it was quite good fun for a little while. Done that for about 3 months, still taking drugs, cannabis, you know, acid. I was still taking lots of LSD. It was, you know, what I used to like to do. And, well, after a couple of months in London, I went off to France and joined the Foreign Legion. Which just sounds a bit crazy, I know. But it is crazy. My stepdad was a legionnaire. Wow. He'd done a couple of months in there. He was an alcoholic, but he came back. But, you know, through all my childhood, he was all about the Foreign Legion. So, turned 18, got out of prison, joined the Foreign Legion. Had a couple of years there, bit of fun. Still looking for something. You know what I mean? Just bored. You know what I mean? Done a couple of years in the Legion. Bored of that then. So I went AWOL, come back to England and joined the army. The British Army. I don't know how I got into the British Army. They didn't even do any checks. So I'm 21 at the time. I'd just done 2.5 years in the Legion. I'm in the British Army, got bored of that, realised that this is not what I want to do. Got in all sorts of trouble. They caught me sniffing gas, sniffing Tipex. Still being a complete idiot. So I ended up in Colchester, the army prison, which was meant to be in the glass house, you know. But I got in there, I was getting cannabis sent up in my shampoo every week. So while everyone else was running around marching and pulling their boots, I was stoned the whole time. It wasn't really that hard for me, you know. It was quite a crazy experience. I've done 6 months in the army prison, got out of there, still not having a clue what I wanted to do with my life, you know, searching for something, always had that feeling that something's going on. So I decided to go to Amsterdam. So I moved to Holland. Right, you can imagine what it's like in Amsterdam. Wow. I thought I was in heaven, you know, I thought that was heaven. Free cannabis is legal, go to the shop, books of cannabis. I was in cannabis heaven, you know. It was just, so I spent about a year in Amsterdam. I started working there for a little while, but got sacked and just decided I could make money any other way. So I was, clubbing, pills. Then I started smoking crack. That's when it all started going a bit dodgy. Anyway, I spent a year in Amsterdam and got bored with that. Come back to England, still not having a clue what to do. Tried a relationship, was crap at that. I didn't have a clue about women, didn't even know about myself. So that all just went completely wrong. And then I was still wondering what to do. So I had a chance to go to Mexico. And 80 quid. I had £80 in my pocket and a ticket to go to Mexico, but it was a fixed ticket. I had a month, like the last in Mexico. So I've gone to Mexico. We're looking for this guy called Douglas. He's meant to be this. He's a spiritual guy. He runs this he's a sorcerer or something. I don't know. I was with this crazy hippie guy, and we had to deliver this book. It's a long story, but I was looking for this sorcerer. It was and Jesus was there even before I even thought about Jesus. It was crazy. I was on the bus. I was lost. It was dark, I don't know where I was going, I got on the wrong bus, and I stood up and asked someone for help, and this lady took me off the bus, drove me miles back to where I was going. She had a big picture of Jesus in our car, but I didn't even think of this at the time. I was too busy looking for Douglas, the sorcerer. A week later, I was starving hungry. I had no food, 80 quid don't go far, even in Mexico, do you know what I mean? And this guy called Afan took us in, this Mexican cactus farmer, and he had pictures of Jesus everywhere. Yeah, he was cool, but still, who's Jesus? I want this Douglas, do you know what I mean? Where's the black magic, where's the sorcery, do you know what I mean? And then about a week after that, another thing happened. I fell out with my friend and went and found a church to sleep in. And I just felt lovely, but still wasn't caring about Jesus, but I had a lovely night's sleep. Anyway, done a month in Mexico. Got back from Mexico and still the same scenario, still not sure what I wanted to do, still smoking loads of dope. Then my dad died, so I started smoking crack. Got bored of dope. I wasn't taking acid anymore, but so just crack became a good thing for me to do, a good way of getting out there, getting off my head. I loved the whole life of running around, trying to get the money for it. Couldn't afford it, so obviously I started selling speed. I found I could make 1,500 quid a week just selling kilos of speed. It was brilliant. And I just smoked all that on crack. It was what a nightmare really, do you know what I mean? But I thought I was having fun. And obviously that led to me going to prison again. I was charged for GBH, and that's when it kicked home. I was looking at 3 to 7 years for this fight I got in. And that's when things started to realise, this is bad, things I've messed up here. So I went to prison, waiting to get sentenced. I'm in Birmingham on remand, waiting to find out what's going to happen. How long am I going to get? 3, 7 years, what? You know what I mean? And I went to the chaplain and asked for this cross. I said, can you give me a cross? I'll never forget it. He come down, it was in a plastic bag, like a little crucifix thing with Jesus on the front. And he had a little prayer and shut my cell door. So I'm left with this cross in my cell, thinking, right, I'll do this then. Looking at it. And I just knew something was going on, but so I opened it up, put it on, and the minute I put it around my neck, I just had this amazing cuddle feeling, this warm cuddle, and it was like, wow, do you know what I mean? This is a nice feeling. This is good, you know what I mean? But I still didn't, I thought it's not, just, I don't know what was going on. But it was still there, do you know what I mean? It was just this warm feeling in my stomach, it's going to be alright, Luke. Everything's going to be sound, do you know what I mean? It's all good now, so I thought to myself, right, got to get to know Jesus now, find out what it's about, you know what I mean? Because to me, Jesus was just Christmas, it wasn't real. Jesus was just a fictional thing, Adam and Eve talking snakes, you know what I mean? What's all that about? It's not the kind of thing you can really, I don't think you could believe in that. But yeah, that's how it all started, you know what I mean? And it's been a mad journey. I've got a load of books, just read all these books about Jesus. The first book I read was Philip Yancey, The Jesus I Never Knew. Yeah. Read that book and I thought, wow, I had this feeling, and some bits brought me to tears, and I thought, yeah, this is it, I'm on it now, this is it. So I got my Bible, started reading the Gospels, and those little things are talking to me, little passages in there that were just wow. And when I was in Mexico and Amsterdam, and that time, and it was all it was all coming together now. You know what I mean? It was so wow, where was I? Yeah, I was in prison. So I started going to church 3 times a week, got into it. Come to Christmas, I watched The Passion of Christ. And I sat on my cell, and I was watching this film. I was like, what? When I see what happened, I just got on my knees, and I felt so guilty for everything I'd done. just felt this feeling, just like, you know, I didn't realise how much he suffered. You know, you hear about Jesus on the cross, but you don't think about the pain he went through, like whipping and all that. I was like, oh my God, he's done that for me, you know. It's not, it's just, and that night in my cell was, you know, that was the final night that I knew that, you know, this is it. Something, you know, Jesus is, you know, a friend of mine now. A friend of mine, and it's like, I don't know, best friend that I've ever had. You know, finally got a mate. Do you know what I mean? Not people that just say they're your friends, you know what I mean? And then they leave you. Because I've been travelling, all these places I've travelled on my own, do you know what I mean? Looking for mates, you know, looking for friends. But then a friend was always there, best friend I could ever have.